kind of have this feeling that we're all mutts, you know?
Yeah, no such thing as a purebred.
I'm from the South, you know, and I've been around a lot of racism in my life, and I've always wondered what it'd be like to grow up that way, you know?
I gotta be honest with you, it wasn't too cool when I was growing up, you know, even for Los Angeles, like people looked at my mom and dad, they didn't get it.
Well, when did your parents get married?
Oh, shit. Don't even know, to be honest with you. They've been together since
Probably
the late
sometime,
60s, though.
what year were you born?
I was born in 75, but they'd been together since the late 60s.
So they did all that, like even like during the Civil Rights era, and they were married, like they got together during the Civil Rights era.
Got married probably, I'd say, in a 70 or something like that, 70, 71. And, you know, they left New York. My dad moved up to New York from Trinidad when he was about 19 or so. You know, when they met, and they moved to LA. And it was just, people were tripping, you know. They were tripping. I remember being a kid, man. People did not like that.
That's crazy to think that in LA it was that way. Because you'd think LA would be the most left-leaning city in the world.
LA is probably one of the most segregated cities in the world, to be honest with you. It's one of the most segregated cities.
When did your father pass away?
3 years ago, May. He passed away May 28th. May 28th, 2005.
So you and your father were really close?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, with him being a drummer, I would imagine that has a lot to do with the fact that you're a drummer today.
Absolutely.
You know, watching him work and...
Since birth, I was watching him play. Yeah, I have to say that he's probably the sole reason. You know, and he comes from a drumming family, you know. All his brothers played, his father played. It's great. His grandfather played. Great. I mean, there's a lot of drummers dating back in that family, you know. That's just
the African heritage.
Yeah, you know, that heritage, you know.
Yeah.
And I was born to do it, you know, much to my mom's chagrin, you know. She did not want me to be a drummer. She
didn't think it was going to be like something that would be like, well, everybody thinks if you want to be a musician when you're a kid that you're wasting your time.
Well, she was married to a drummer, so I think it was a little more personal.
Than just...
She did not want me to be a drummer.
Really?
She didn't want her baby boy to be subject to the life of a working musician, which is hard and, you know, it's dark.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of dark times, and, you know, a lot
dark
of guys,
how? Like financially, spiritually, emotionally?
Spiritually. I mean, your job basically is to open your soul in front of a bunch of strangers every night, and you share this with them, and then you go back to your hotel room or to your bunk on the bus, and then you're alone, and you repeat this process over and over again. It starts to mess with your head, you know.
It starts to feel like a dream, I would imagine, or like I think I would get kind of a surreal feeling.
It's actually, what's surreal is when you're not on the road. That's like, we've been doing it so long that you feel so comfortable on the road, you know what to do. You know how to handle those lonely nights in the hotel room, you know, or whatever it is, you know. I mean, a lot of guys, that's why a lot of musicians and a lot of the greats have died, you know, like self-medicating and taking drugs and this and that. It's dark, man. Like, being on the road is dark. It's not the, I mean, I couldn't see myself doing anything else at the same time, you know. I do love it, but it is hard, and it's not for the it's not for the weak. You know, you gotta want it, and
there are a lot of dead good musicians.
You know, the road kills. Music kills, man. You know, to live. I was, you know, I remember hanging with Elliott Smith. You know, we'd drink at the local bar. You know, and those.
Who's Elliott Smith?
He was a singer-songwriter, great singer-songwriter, and got quite a lot of notoriety. He was pretty famous, actually. And he ended up stabbing himself in the heart. You know, he killed himself by stabbing himself in the heart.
God,
like, he was just a sad man. But one of the greatest songwriters. You know. And it's funny how that kind of pain and that kind of talent come hand in hand. But it usually does.
My father and my grandfather are both musicians, so yeah. But and my grandfather died of alcoholism. He was a trombonist for Tommy Dorsey, so I kind of have that in my family too. But so when your father passed, how did that affect you?
Hard. I didn't deal with it for about a good 2 years. This is the first year that I'm actually dealing with it.
How are you dealing with it?
Taking a good look at myself and trying not to fall into the same pattern of life that he did.
I'm sorry. No, it's all good.
You know,
So, your dad?
The night he passed, I went and got real fucked up. You know what I mean? And that process continued for a couple of years.
Really?
Yeah.
What was your thing? Is it alcohol? Whatever?
Oh, well, you know.
Whatever?
Not whatever, no, I'm not a whatever type of dude.
Really?
No, the booze, the sauces, you know, the thing of choice. All right, this is my man right here.
Thanks, brother. I really appreciate everything.
Oh, man. Easy. Hey,
Will you say hey? Say hello to Mr. Ben.
You see Steve Winwood get up there and play with Petty?
Sounding exactly like he did when he was like 12.
So, you support autism awareness?
Absolutely. Absolutely. My sister's son, my nephew, Linus, is autistic.
How old is he?
He's 9 years old now. And he'll need assistance probably for the rest of his life.
You babysit him?
Yeah, sometimes. You know, I smack him around a little bit. Not really smack him around, but we have some fun.
Yeah.
But it's debilitating. Let me tell you something about autism people might not know is that, you know, someone having autism is one thing, but it really affects the families of the people that have it. You know, marriages break up over it.
The financial burden.
The financial burdens, the fact that they don't know that much about it and what causes it, you know, is a real, it's a huge headache, man. And you got to really be dedicated. You know, my sister, it's 24 hours a day. You know, whether it's diet, whether it's just constant exercises, and you know, a struggle just to get him to pay attention. You know, they can get really detached, but he's actually doing really well. He's a great kid. You know,
How long have they known? I mean, how old was he when they figured out that he was autistic? 3.5.
He was. They can't really diagnose it until around 3 years old. But he wasn't talking at all. 3.5 years old, so they knew something was wrong, and he went. You know, he did this test with all these different doctors or whatever, and they found out that he was autistic. And there's no money being pumped into it. You know, there's no money being pumped into autism research. The only people putting the money in are the people that have been touched by it personally. And I mean, of course, other people have, but it's not like any, you know, other things where people put money in.
Cancer, whatever.
Yeah, well, the thing about cancer is that shit kills. You know, autism doesn't necessarily kill, but it's worthy enough of a cause to really understand that it is the biggest epidemic. It's the
I don't
biggest
know much
epidemic.
about it.
You know, I mean, if you combine all the child illnesses, like there's still more autistic kids, you know. And the thing is, up until, you know, like they say that there's more autistic kids now. I don't know if that's true. I just think that they're better at diagnosing it now. You know, that detached weird kid that didn't speak to anybody, you know, like he might have been autistic, you know. You never knew. But it's you know, I urge anybody to just, you know, go to like Act Now or you know, any autism website, you know, livingwithautism.org or you know, autism awareness, anything.
And donate
And just read up on it, you know, understand what it is, you know, what people have to go through, what people that are autistic have to go through, how they kind of get ostracized and they live very lonely lives.
Oliver Charles,
Phil Manley, helpforhumans.org.
go there.
Go there. Salute.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Peace.